All right, let's dive into Uniqlo. We've got a whole stack of stuff here, articles, reports, analyses.
Mhm.
Somebody wants to know how this brand works.
Yeah, it's a good one to pick.
Right. From one little menswear store in Japan to, well, a global fashion powerhouse.
It's kind of amazing.
So we'll be looking at their strategy, their brand, that whole Uniqlo thing they've got going on.
I think what people want to know is, can you be affordable and innovative? Because that's what they seem to pull off.
Can you have both? Let's find out.
The cool thing here is, it's not like an overnight boom. This was a long game for Uniqlo, lots of growth, adapting, even some missteps along the way.
So even giants stumble a bit before they...
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of those first steps, let's go back to the beginning. Picture this. Hiroshima, 1984. A shop called Unique Clothing Warehouse opens. Not exactly a name you'd think would conquer the world, is it?
You would not guess that from the name, right?
No. But that's where Tadashi Yanai, the founder, started. And he wasn't thinking small time, was he?
No, he had bigger ideas. And that name, by the way, became Uniqlo pretty fast.
Makes sense. Probably easier for global marketing.
Oh, definitely.
One article mentioned the Japanese recession in the 90s actually helped Uniqlo, which is weird.
Yeah. How does that work?
Right. Usually tough times don't mean fashion empires get built.
It's counterintuitive, but it makes sense when you think about it. Everyone was tightening their budgets.
Cutting back.
Yeah, and Uniqlo was right there with good clothes, reasonable prices, perfect timing almost.
So they fit the need of the moment.
They did, and within a decade, boom, 100 stores all across Japan. But going global, that was a different story.
Yeah, several reports talk about those early struggles, UK, US especially.
Yeah,
What went wrong there?
a few things. Sizing and brand perception, for sure.
I can see that being tough.
But the bigger issue was they thought what worked in Japan would just automatically work everywhere.
Like everyone wants the same things.
Right, which is a mistake a lot of brands make, honestly. Even with basic clothes, culture matters.
Makes sense.
Hmm.
So how'd they turn it around?
They got smarter. Instead of every little corner of the world, they focused on flagship stores, big cities.
High visibility making a statement.
Exactly. And to go beyond just cheap and basic, they started working with designers, upping their image a bit.
So accessible and aspirational. That's interesting.
It was a good mix. But they didn't ditch what got them there. They didn't become some whole new company.
No, they kept the core.
And that's where the Uniqlo way comes in. You see it everywhere. It's that made-for-all idea.
Okay, explain that.
Clothes that work no matter how old you are, gender, where you're from. Most brands pick a niche. They do the opposite.
So affordable, universal, but not chasing trends or being exclusive. That's a tough spot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that enough to build a brand on?
It's a solid start, but what's fascinating is they don't stop there. They're not like Zara or H&M, fast fashion.
Yeah, totally different vibe.
Instead of trendy, it's timeless designs, quality you can wear for years, not just a season.
Which fits the affordability too. If it lasts, the price matters less over time. But then we get into the tech side of things in these reports, and I'm like, is that where the real innovation is?
That's a big part of it, yeah. They're all about these fabrics, heat tech, airism, lifewear.
More than just comfy clothes though, right?
Way more. They're putting serious R&D into this stuff.
So give me an example. What makes one of those fabrics stand out?
Take heat tech. It uses your body's moisture to make heat.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, like a t-shirt that warms you up using science.
Clever. I also saw that they work with these takumi, which sounds very Japanese.
It is. It means master craftspeople, top of their game.
So, like experts.
Yeah, Uniqlo's working with textile masters, combining that ancient knowledge with their modern tech.
So it's not just labs, it's respecting how things have always been made well.
That's part of it.
And they're always improving those technologies too.
Always. Innovation is like built into their culture. It's about making clothes better, more useful, comfier. Every year it's something new.
Can't rest on your laurels. Got to keep pushing.
Exactly. It's not enough to just have a great fabric. It's got to be even better next year.
Okay, so we've got affordable, universal appeal, quality, the tech side. But what about actually buying the stuff? Does that matter to their success?
Oh, huge part of it. It's not just the clothes. It's that whole shopping experience, online and in person.
So you got to make people enjoy buying it too. What's different about their approach?
Oh, it's huge. It's all about the details. They have these intense training programs for employees, even a Uniqlo university.
Whoa, hold on. A whole university.
It's serious stuff. It's a mix of customer service, how to run things smoothly, and really getting that Uniqlo
So
philosophy.
they're not just salespeople, they're like brand experts.
Yeah, more like ambassadors.
That's interesting. And this applies online too. How do they bring that same level of detail to the web?
That's where it gets really smart. Remember, we're trying to figure out if a brand can be cheap and innovative at the same time.
Right.
Well, Uniqlo went digital early on, which usually costs a lot of money.
Yeah, marketing isn't cheap.
No. They were doing stuff back in 2007, like that Uniclock campaign that most brands weren't even thinking about.
Oh, I remember that. The dancing figures synced to the time. It was so simple, but it stuck with you.
Totally. Simple, catchy, and it worked. It wasn't some big budget thing, but it got that Uniqlo feel.
Sure.
Playful, but minimalist.
Yeah, they nailed that. And
Yeah.
they've kept evolving online, right? Social media, apps.
All of it. And they use customer data to give personalized suggestions, too.
So it's tech that actually improves the experience, not just a gimmick.
Exactly. But here's the thing. With all this innovation, the tech, the global reach, how does that work with sustainability? Those often feel at odds.
Yeah, good point. Especially for a brand that's all about made for all. Sustainability can't be an afterthought, right?
Exactly. And these reports you've got, they talk about their 6 pillars of sustainability, which is pretty impressive.
It's a whole system. And they're actually doing stuff, not just talking. They've got the all-product recycling initiative and are pushing for diversity and inclusion in the company itself.
Yeah, they're walking the walk, for sure.
It matters more and more these days, especially for younger shoppers.
It does. They want brands that reflect their values.
Yeah.
So even if it costs Uniqlo more upfront, they're betting this will pay off long term.
Smart move, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, so innovative, but responsible.
Mm-hmm.
What about those global ambitions, though? Can this really work worldwide?
It's a big goal, no doubt.
Yeah.
They're huge in Asia, but lots of the world still doesn't really get Uniqlo yet. That's the next hurdle.
So how do they take this formula, this Uniqlo thing, and make it work in, say, Europe, the Americas, where people shop and think so differently?
It's got to be a balancing act. What works in Tokyo might not fly in Paris or New York. They've been expanding carefully, key cities, flagships, and tweaking things to fit local tastes.
So like becoming a chameleon but without losing who they are. Is that even possible?
It's a huge task, no question. There's no magic formula. But their choice of global ambassadors, that's interesting.
Yeah, they've got some big names attached.
Yeah.
Does that really matter, though? Just a famous face wearing your clothes?
It's more than that. Think about Roger Federer, one of their ambassadors. He's a tennis legend, known for precision, grace, and playing for a long time.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
All qualities that fit Uniqlo's image, right?
So it's not random. It's picking someone who embodies the brand.
Exactly. They've also worked with designers like Jill Sander, Marimekko, bringing in that high fashion touch, but keeping it accessible.
Smart way to broaden the appeal.
Yeah.
But with all this global stuff, the collabs, are they going to lose what makes them Uniqlo?
It's a risk, for sure. The bigger you get, the harder it is to stay consistent. You got to be recognizable as Uniqlo anywhere, but also appeal to those local tastes. It's a puzzle, for sure.
A big one. How do they even manage that?
They're choosing their markets carefully, how they adapt their stuff, and those ambassadors, the designer collabs, that creates global appeal and local relevance.
So it's not erasing their Japaneseness, it's weaving it into something bigger.
Right, incorporating other cultures and styles.
Ambitious.
Wow.
But what about the man himself, Tadashi Yanai? He seems like a unique guy.
Oh, he is. He's been called a retail revolutionary, and he's the driving force behind all this, no doubt. But he's also super private and known to be demanding.
Sounds like a fascinating guy. But he can't run the show forever, can he?
Yep.
What happens when he steps down?
That's the big question. Succession planning is huge for Uniqlo. Finding someone to fill those shoes with the same vision, the passion, that's tough.
Like finding the next Steve Jobs for Apple.
Exactly. It's not just one person, though. It's making sure that Uniqlo culture, the innovation and customer focus, that stays alive as they grow and change.
Got to keep that Uniqlo way going.
Absolutely. And they've got to adapt to the retail world as it changes, too. Online shopping's getting bigger, sustainability's a focus, consumer demographics are shifting. It's a lot to keep up with.
Makes you wonder if this whole affordable and innovative thing can even last long term. They're always going to be balancing, it seems like.
True. But they've been good at adapting, innovating so far. And don't forget, they've got a purpose. A lot of brands don't have that. They're not just selling clothes. There's a bigger idea there.
Right, that made for all isn't just marketing. It's about their values. Inclusivity, quality, the sustainable stuff, like a vision for the future.
And that connects with people. Consumers want brands that align with their own values, you know?
It's not just what you wear, it's what the brand means. But isn't that risky? Taking a stand on social stuff can alienate some people.
It's a risk, but it seems to be working. They're not hiding their beliefs, and that's attracting loyal customers. It's a gamble, but maybe it's the key to lasting success.
Okay, so we've covered global goals, the affordable yet innovative mix, sustainability, the challenges. But what about just communicating their brand? How do they tell their story?
That's where it gets even cooler. It's like subtle branding. It's not flashy ads. It's creating a whole experience that reinforces their values everywhere you look.
So it's the whole package, not just the clothes. It's the store, the website, all of it.
Exactly. Think about walking into one of their stores.
Yeah.
Minimalist design, everything's organized, the way the staff interacts with you. It's all calm, ordered, efficient.
Like a Japanese Zen garden almost.
Yeah.
The opposite of that sensory overload you get in a lot of stores.
Exactly. And speaking of sensory overload, let's talk about their clothes. Simple, functional, but not boring at all. How do they do that? Yeah, it's a hard balance to strike. It's like they're almost the opposite of what you expect from fashion.
Totally. As we've been talking, it hit me how weird they are, in a good way.
They've gone global, become huge, but they break so many of the rules.
Most brands, it's all about exclusivity.
Yeah, that gotta have it now
All
feeling.
right. Fueling the trends, the whole cycle. But Uniqlo's doing something different.
It's timeless, useful, stuff that lasts. It's like they're fighting back against that fast fashion craziness in a subtle way.
Buy less, buy better. That's almost the opposite of how most companies think, isn't it?
It is. But maybe that's why people like it. They're tired of keeping up with the trends, always needing the new thing.
And tired of sacrificing quality to get a good price.
Exactly. Uniqlo saying you can have nice clothes made well that look good and don't hurt your wallet. Plus, the sustainable angle, that's big for a lot of people.
It's about values, not just the clothes, right?
Yeah.
Quality matters. The trends can fade away.
Exactly. But can they really pull this off long term? Can they hit those big goals while still being, well, Uniqlo?
That's the question, isn't it? It's a big risk going against the grain like that.
For sure. But sometimes the biggest changes come from shaking things up. And Uniqlo's never been afraid to try something new.
Remember we talked about them flopping early on in the UK, the US? They didn't just quit.
Nope, they figured it out, learned from it, and now look at them.
Yeah, huge in those markets.
Proving there's more than one way to win in fashion. And maybe their way, focusing on the basics quality, being new, treating customers right, maybe that's what'll last in the end.
Interesting thought. Maybe the future of fashion isn't about chasing what's hot right now, but what has real value.
And building a brand people trust. A brand that stands for something more than just making money.
Uniqlo seems to be doing that.
Yeah.
At least, they've made sustainability part of everything they do. They're not afraid to talk about social issues.
Shows they care about more than just profits. They want to do some good in the world, too.
Powerful stuff.
Right?
And it seems to be working. People are paying attention.
Absolutely. So we've learned a ton about Uniqlo, their global plans, how they mix affordable with innovative, the sustainability focus, the hurdles they gotta jump. But what's the takeaway for the person listening? They wanted to know how Uniqlo wins. What can they learn from all this?
Right. What's the lesson here?
Sometimes the simplest ideas are the best. Make good stuff, be innovative, treat your customers well, stick to your values, and don't be afraid to try something different, even if people think it's weird.
And maybe a little bit of that made-for-all magic, that can really change things. It's not just clothes. It's about making things better for everyone.
I like that Uniqlo is a brand to keep an eye on, that's for sure. Their story's just getting started. We'll see how they keep changing things, what kind of impact they have on fashion and beyond.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Uniqlo. Hope you learned something new.
My pleasure. Always fun to go deep on these topics.
Until next time.